What is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? It's your boy Pip. We are back for another video, and in this one, we are going to go ahead and give you our predictions for the Royal Rumble this weekend. Um, Now, last week we did a prediction video, me versus Taylor. We're not going to do that for the Royal Rumble just because of how complex the Rumble is, how many extra elements there are to predicting things with it. But we might do that again for Elimination Chamber. That's the next major PLE as far as I know. So we might do that again for that. But for Royal Rumble, we're just going to sit here, really talk about what we think is going to happen. I'm going to go through both title matches we have, and then I'm going to go through both Rumbles. And while I'm doing it, I'm going to also try and predict who the Iron Man and or Iron Woman is, uh, who the person with the most eliminations will be for each Rumble, who your final four will be, and then, of course, who your winner will be. But before we do any of that, we're going to start with the WWE Tag Team Championship 2 out of 3 falls match, where current champions DIY will be defending against the Motor City Machine Guns. I don't know if y'all knew this, but this is the first time that the men's tag team championships, either Raw or SmackDown set, WWE or World, have been defended on a PLE since WrestleMania 40. That was in April. It has been 9 months, almost 10 by the time this happens. That's insane. Now, we've had title changes. You know, at WrestleMania, we had Miz and Truth win, and then they lost them to. Did they lose them straight to Judgment Day? I think they did. And then Judgment Day lost them to the War Raiders on the SmackDown side. We had A Town Down Under, who lost them to DIY to the Bloodline, to the Machine Guns, and then back to DIY. So we've had tag team title changes, but not on PLEs. And we can't have changes on PLEs if they're not even defended. So I'm glad to see the tag titles getting a little bit of representation on the main PLEs. Unfortunately for the Machine Guns, I don't think that they become new champions here. I think DIY probably holds on to them. I think there's a lot of story left to tell, and if you take the titles off of them this fresh after their heel turn, I feel like it hurts them more than it helps the Machine Guns. So I'm gonna take the champs to retain here, probably 2-1. Um, I wouldn't be surprised to see an early fall for DIY and then a comeback fall for Machine Guns just to fall again at the end to DIY. But either way, I'm going to take DIY to retain here. And yeah, so let's move on to the other title match, which is the WWE Undisputed Championship ladder match with champion Cody Rhodes defending against Winged Eagle pseudo champion Kevin Owens. Um, God, I want Kevin Owens to win here. I really do, but I don't think he will. I think Cody wins here. I think we might see a return from Randy Orton. Um, it depends on what they really want to do. If they want to give us KO Randy at Mania, or if they want to give us Sammy KO at Mania. But I would expect to see either a Randy Orton or a Sami Zayn appearance. They end up costing Kevin Owens the match, and then Kevin Owens will then cost whichever one of them did it in the Rumble later that night to set up the WrestleMania match. That's what I would assume. Um, but I just don't see them taking off the title off of Cody, at least until after, or at least until Mania, if not after. Although I would love to see it personally. I'd love to see KO Sammy at Mania for the title. But that's just me. Um, Now, let's go ahead and move on to the Rumbles. Let's start with the Women's Rumble. Um, to start, let's talk about who I think the Iron Woman's going to be. I think that your Iron Woman is probably going to be Liv Morgan. I would not be surprised if she comes out first, second, third, very early in the match and makes it till very late in the match. She was the runner-up last year. She was the runner-up the year before. I wouldn't entirely be surprised if she won this year and got her rematch with Rhea at Mania, finally winning the Rumble that she's been so close to winning the last couple years. So I'm going to say the Iron Woman for this year's Royal Rumble is Liv Morgan. Now, the more entertaining special stat, I guess, the most eliminations. I think they probably come at the hand of a returning Jade Cargill. I think there's plenty of reason to look at this as a perfect opportunity to bring Jade back. Probably solidify who attacked her. Probably her turn on Naomi and Bianca. Eliminate maybe both of them, which would be a huge moment. But don't be surprised if Jade Cargill tosses out 10 people in this match. I think she's going to have a very, very strong showing after celebrating her year with the company, because she made her debut last year at the Rumble, if you remember. So I'm going to take Jade Cargill for most eliminations. Now let's move on to the final four for the women. I have the earlier mentioned Liv Morgan. Bringing her back in here. Like I said, I think she's the Iron Woman, and because of that, I think she starts this match very early and probably lasts most of the match. And I kind of think she might be the runner-up again, just to tell that story even more so. Also in the final four, I've got the returning Charlotte Flair. I think she's going to have a good showing in this Rumble. She's been gone for over a year. We all know how Charlotte is when she comes back. So don't be surprised if she's in this Rumble for quite some time. Probably picks up a decent handful of eliminations and makes it to the final four. Also in the final four, Becky Lynch. I think she returns in this Rumble. I think that's a very realistic option. We all know Becky Lynch is going to be coming back soon. She's been gone for the better part of a half a year now. And I think it could be really interesting having her in the final four with Charlotte Flair and with Liv Morgan, with the history she has with both of them, especially with her last match in the company before she left, losing to Liv Morgan in a title match. There's plenty of stories to tell there. And there's the element of she has history with Rhea Ripley and Tiffany Stratton, the two current champions, which would allow us to wonder if she's going to end up in a situation where she's facing off against one of them again. And then the last person in the final four, I have Io Sky. I think that she's a dark horse to win this match. I think she's been doing a lot of carrying the company in the women's division over the past year, like Liv Morgan. And I also think that Io Sky is going to be your sneaky winner. I do. I think the stories that you could tell with Charlotte and Becky and Liv are all really good, but I think everyone wants to see Rhea Io at this point. And so I'm going to take Io Sky to win the Women's Royal Rumble this year. Probably last eliminating Liv Morgan is my pick. Now on the Men's Rumble side, if we want to talk about the Iron Man for this year's Rumble for the men, I got a couple people in mind. I got like a Carmelo Hayes. I got like, a Cena. But I'm going to take Jey Uso. I think Jey is, he's been the man of the people. I think he probably starts the match very early, gets people hyped up, probably because it'll be the last match of the night and people will be tired, and that'll help wake people up. And he could very realistically last for a solid 45-50 minutes in this match. Um, he could also end up coming out late and completely destroy this pick. But we'll see. But I'm going to take Jey Uso for Iron Man. And for most eliminations, also part of that family, I'm taking Jacob Fatu. We all know he's a beast. If he's in this Rumble, he is a threat to everyone else in this Rumble. He could very easily be the person you use to eliminate anyone and everyone that you need somebody to get out of that Rumble. So I'm going to take Jacob Fatu to have an amazing showing in his first Royal Rumble and probably drop somewhere around 8 eliminations. And then going into our final 4. Like I said, an easy contender for Iron Man, John Cena. I think he makes the final 4 here. He's going to be telling the story of wanting to get his 17th world title. This is his last Royal Rumble. There's a lot of story to be told, and I think he is going to be a very fun part of it. With that, I think one of his biggest rivals of all time, CM Punk, should be in this final 4. I think Punk is a favorite in pretty much every betting circle to pick for this Royal Rumble. And I think he definitely makes it to the final 4 and will have an interesting dynamic with Cena, especially now that they're both faces. Along with somebody that has history with Punk and probably has future history with Cena, Drew McIntyre. I think that he's going to be the big obstacle at the end of this Rumble. There's the history of him and Punk from their entire feud last year, as well as McIntyre being the one that injured Punk last year in the Rumble. And I think McIntyre is going to be a big stop for Cena on the retirement tour. Maybe even his WrestleMania opponent. I'm not sure about that, but I think that there's a lot of interesting stories to be told there. And then the last person in the final 4 has history with all 3 of these men and an interesting dynamic with all 3 of these men, and that is the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. So he's got title defenses in the past against Cena, a major feud with Cena. He's got a major feud in the past with McIntyre and probably a future one with McIntyre. And he's got some interesting history, both of them being Paul Heyman guys, with Punk. And we all know that Paul Heyman owes this favor to CM Punk. And we'll see if that comes up in this Rumble. It could be something like getting Punk number 30 in the Rumble. And I think that'll potentially play a big role in Punk being the winner of this year's Royal Rumble. We all know that that's something that real-life Phil Brooks has said adamantly he wants to accomplish, along with main eventing WrestleMania, and this is a direct way to do both. So I'm going to take your final 4 of Cena, Punk, McIntyre, and Reigns, with the winner maybe last eliminating Roman or Cena. It could be any of them, but I'm going to take Punk to win the Rumble and move on to WrestleMania. And those are my predictions. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what you guys are most excited for. I would also predict some surprise entrants, but we have another video over from earlier last week on the channel already about all the surprise entrants that we could see happening, men and women's Rumbles, 2 separate videos, so please go check them out. Like I said, let us know in the comments what you think. And with all that being said, as always, I am Pip. Y'all are the greatest, and when in doubt, we'll see you next time. See ya!